Hello class, my name is Claire, and today I will be showing you how food plays a role in globalization. The history of food trade dates back to over 4,000 years ago, when the spice trade began in the Middle East. Arabic spice merchants would create a sense of mystery by withholding the origins of their goods. They would ensure high prices by telling fantastic tales about fighting off fierce winged creatures to reach spices growing high on cliff walls. The spice trade, however, was only traded within the countries of the Middle East and was not actually introduced to the world until the beginning of the Silk Road. The Silk Road, if anyone doesn't know, was an ancient network of trade routes connecting the east to the west between 130 BC to 1453 AD. A variety of goods were traded, including spices, which at that time were in high demand in Europe. Because there were no refrigerators in the Middle Ages, they would often be used to preserve and hide the smell of spoiled meat. Not only were they used to add flavor to their meals, spices were also believed to possess medicinal properties. Unfortunately, Europe dangled at the far end of the spice trading chain, with no power to contend the outrageous prices. At one point in the 1300s, tariffs were so high that a pound of nutmeg in Europe cost 7 fattened oxen and was a more valuable commodity than gold. That was why by the 1400s, when navigational equipment have improved enough to allow long-distance sails, the monarchies of Europe set out to alter the balance of world trade by funding spice hunting missions of their own. The rest you should know. Christopher Columbus discovered North America by accident while searching for quicker routes to India. North America was colonized by Europe. After that, Canada became an independent country, helped fight in wars, and developed a sense of nationalism. Now let's talk about food globalization in the present day. The industrialization of food corporations mostly revolve around America. America chain restaurants like McDonald's, Subway, and Starbucks dominate the fast food industry. They can easily be found throughout the world. Nonetheless, restaurants that specialize in a certain type of food, like sushi, are especially popular in the western parts of the globe. Now let's move on to the spread of food culture. Food culture spreads mostly through the dispersing of people. Take immigration and travel, for example. Immigrants originate from different parts of the world. They bring their traditions and cultures over, which quickly spreads as time continues. Vancouver, for instance, has immigrants from all continents except Antarctica. Because of this, we have countless shops and restaurants of all sorts of cultures. There's Chinese food, Thai food, Korean barbecue, bubble tea, of course, and many more. During vacation, tourists get to experience foods from different geographical regions. This exposes them to new ideas and influences their way of eating and buying when it comes to food. So how does this promote multiculturalism? Well, food brings people of different races together. People bond over food, and that is a fact. As an example, Elishba and Kelly have always been very good friends, but they bonded over bubble tea, and the debate team became closer through apple juice. Additionally, we have this yearly cultural festival, also known as the Fusion Festival, in Surrey, where cultures from around the world are brought together. One main component of this celebration is the food. The vendors of the countless number of booths are always excited to share their traditional foods with everyone. So, what are the pros and cons of food trade? First of all, consumers get a wider range of lower-priced foods because of the diversity of them, and the profits from free trade discourage war between countries that trade. Of course, there will always be disadvantages along with advantages. Local farmers have more competition due to the massive amount of imported foods, which in turn leads to reduced agriculture subsidies. Globalized foods, such as tobacco, leads to smoking, which is very bad, and causes diseases like lung cancer. Also, foods with no nutrition value but very addicting to eat, like sugar, which causes diabetes and obesity, doesn't do any good for the body. So what have I taught you today? The spice trade is the reason why Canada exists. Immigration and travel spreads food culture. Bonding over food is the key to multiculturalism. And food trade is great, but also not so great. Initially, I planned to do a video of me making some foods with my voice in the background, but that didn't go very well. Thus, I gave up halfway.
Why? No.
But I will still explain how the video is relevant to my topic, as it seems rather random. These were the foods I planned on making: mochi, rice cake, and rice pudding. And all of these foods have one common ingredient: rice. Rice is a staple food of the world, which is mostly eaten in the eastern, southern, and southeastern parts of Asia. Rice was first discovered in China over 5,000 years ago. But how did other countries like Japan and Korea get their hands on it? Of course, it was through trade. The countries then adopted their own way of utilizing this foreign ingredient. After inventing their new dish, it is absorbed by them and becomes a part of their culture. Some more examples can be potatoes. Potatoes were first domesticated in Peru thousands of years ago. Later, they were traded around the world, and in the late 1600s, Belgium invented French fries, which then led to Canada discovering the miracle of poutine in 1957.